I'm Tiara Bonisi. I'm an educator, a writer, and a baby historian. I got a couple of degrees and I might be in a PhD program, but mostly my credentials are that I'm a caring human being and I'm wildly inquisitive. I love pop culture, well, the shit that interests me anyway. I love education, especially when it comes down to black and brown children. And I'm really interested in human relationships and romance. And so you can find that here on this channel. And I'm creating like little different folders so you can get it in how you want to and what interests you. But today I want to talk about Gary, Indiana, the more than week that they've been without power, and what would we do, what would I do in a natural disaster, and to prepare for a natural or an unnatural disaster. Let's go. If this situation in Gary, Indiana hasn't taught y'all nothing, have some water in your house. Some water. First base of disaster prep is water. First base. Because human beings can't survive that long without it. So save up some gallons. You can even get those packs of like water bottles because those are easier to stack and also easier to ration out. You can save gallons. You can also get those like 55 gallon tubs and fill those up. If you are a person who's lucky enough to have a garage or somewhere like a cool dark space in your house, those are perfect for that. And those can last up to like 5 years and longer if you're going to use it to like wash up with or whatever. Water. First thing. Second thing, food. We're talking canned goods. We're talking bags of rice, bags of beans. You want to have them grains on lock because if you could fire up a pot of rice, that's going to take you farther. We're talking about filling up your deep freezer. I got a deep freezer at the end of last year. Now, in a power outage, a disaster, you're only going to be able to use the things in the deep freezer for so long before they go bad. One of the things on my Amazon like disaster list, apocalypse list, is a cooler that lasts for a couple of days. So I could take the things out that I want to use the most and keep them in the cooler. But also the deep freezer is going to act like a cooler, at least for a couple of days. And then it's how am I going to cook these things? When I'm watching this situation in Gary, Indiana, and they've been without power due to tornadoes for a little over a week, some people are using grills because they don't have power. One thing I dislike strongly about Atlanta is that they've replaced a lot of gas stoves with electric stoves, which doesn't help anybody in a disaster because you can't go ahead and light that eye. So one thing that I think everybody should have in the Amazon list and that you should order as soon as possible is a grill, and whatever you need for that grill. If it's charcoal, if it's propane or butane, I don't know what they use, one of the tanes, because you're gonna need a method to cook that food if the power is out. And those are something that's cost effective to get that you could just go ahead and store at home. It is always storming in Atlanta. So one thing that I'm interested in doing is collecting rainwater. They have rainwater bins that you can set up outside. And it has like you can put like a little mesh thing on top to keep out bugs and to keep out like leaves and stuff. It's like, might as well. It's always storming in this bitch anyway. But in terms of what people are saying about what's happening in Gary, and we can look at, what happened a year and a half ago when there was those storms coming through Georgia, what happened in LA with those fires. The government sending in resources to help us usually takes forever, especially if the us is black or brown, and we have to rely on the community to help, and a lot of people have helped in situations like this, but we also have the foresight to prepare. The first time you try to grow something should not be in a disaster. Every year I grow something. It's not as big as my garden was during the pandemic. I had potatoes, strawberries, bell peppers, squash. Was that it? I had like a cute little garden, okay? But every year I grow something just to be in practice of growing. Just to see what I can successfully do and repeat it again until I get the garden that I want. And so I think that that's something that's really important for people to do. Whether you have a full yard, whether you have a porch and you can do like a vertical porch garden, it's just something to think about. And so, yeah, I guess my question is to you, what would you put in your disaster kit and what would you slide on that Amazon cart? What people are saying is that our government may be testing disaster on the United States. We've seen disaster on the United States, right? In different places. But the conspiracy theory is that there's going to be an uptick in disaster in the United States, testing to see how we react to hunger, testing how we react to disaster. For whatever political games, whatever agenda unbeknownst to us. So whether the disaster is natural or unnatural, we should be prepared. This is also why I grow something every year. I don't have the fat garden that I want, but you're not going to catch me without food. Could your city be the next Gary, Indiana? Could it be the next place where a natural or unnatural disaster is experienced? And regardless if it is a political disaster, a socio-economic disaster, race wars, race riots, any number of things that could happen to American people, that have happened to American people. Let's go back in time to 2020, where we were the first year into the pandemic, which was a bio disaster on top of the race riots that happened after George Floyd was murdered, right? So we had two kind of disasters coming together. No matter what it is, how could we prepare? How would you prepare?
11 days. That's how long thousands of people in Gary, Indiana have been in the dark. It started after severe storms ripped through parts of northwest Indiana last week, killing at least 7 people, leveling trees and downing power lines. According to the region's electrical utility provider, NIPSCO, more than 370,000 people were left without power in the aftermath of the storms. That was on August 11th. Today, NIPSCO says roughly 32,000 people still don't have power. More than half of those people are in Gary, Indiana, where Black residents make up more than 84% of the city's population. Schools there are closed. Residents are fighting to stay cool in the August humidity. People are throwing out rotten food and lining up at makeshift pantries for shelf-stable food just to get through the weekend.